Okay. Just to start off from yesterday, I mentioned George Washington in that George Washington could not have been a real person. And if he was a real person, he was not a white or Caucasian person. And if he was that, he was definitely not a president. Not first president, but a president in general. Why do I say that? Because months ago, I came to a deduction that the presidents of the United States were made up. They're not real. That's right, I said it. Not all of them. I'm talking about the ones from prior to the turn of the century. So the ones prior to the 1900s, I would say. Even before, maybe even 1912. That's the number that just came to me just now. 1912. Prior to that, they were not real. They were made up. All right? Yes, Abraham Lincoln, all of them. And if they were real people, they were not presidents. Like I said before, there were people who were here already, native to this land. All right? So in giving this information, let's just say I had to look it up because I had the thought again this morning after yesterday's, revealing everything to you all, which I've known for months, sometime last year, 2025, about slavery in the United States. It was a lie. Well, so was all those presidents. It's a lie. Think about why they had Native Americans on money, the money back then. They wouldn't just put them on there. You know what I'm saying? Especially if things occurred the way we've been learning in U.S. history. They wouldn't just put them on money like that. I don't mean to say it in a way like they don't matter. Just given the history of this country and race and ethnicities and all that stuff like that, they would not have done that. So either the money had already existed or everyone coexisted at that time. There was a time when everyone just coexisted and got along. Somewhere along the lines, things changed. Someone wanted more power, and they flipped it. Now, like I said, George Washington could not have been the first president if he was at all. Supposedly, he was either elected or appointed president in 1789. All right? 1789. Now, there have been 47 presidents to date. 47 United States presidents to date. Some of them serving multiple terms. So collectively, with the multiple terms and everything, it would have been a total of 276 years of presidents to date. 276, starting from 1789, will put you at the year 2065. The year 2065 would be where we should be if you calculate the terms and the number of presidents that we supposedly have had. That's not what we have, is it? That's not where we're at. That's not the year we're in. So what does that tell you? That stuff is made up. It's a lie. And to think they had the nerve, the freaking audacity to fail these children in school. School is, I'll say public education system, but a private education system have to have a curriculum they have to abide by as well. They have to follow. So they're teaching the same bullshit, but charging you $1,000 to receive that same bullshit information. Information is a lie, it's made up, it's inaccurate. And if they're going through that much trouble to create this lie, we all have been put under a mental spell, a mental manipulation. A mental manipulation. Is that really what World Wars I and II was about? Is that when this occurred, this mental manipulation? Because MK Ultra supposedly officially began in 1952 or 53. I think it was 53, officially. They found a way to alter people's memory. Alters people's memory. And they were able to rewrite history. You know, people say his story. That's correct. It is his story. And not only that, these water towers. I came to a moment of not really clarity, but curiosity. I was out one day and I kept looking at it and I was like, why would water be up high like that if that is a water tower? And not only that, I'm probably going to pass one soon. So I'll show you what I'm talking about. Not only that, there are a lot of cables and antennas and a lot of technical equipment attached to these quote-unquote water towers. Something is going on inside of there. There ain't no freaking water that's sitting in there. It's almost like it's a command center of some type. Almost like they have people in there working, doing something. What exactly are they doing? Is that where the people who are watching these cameras that they have everywhere, is that where they are? And these structures that they've told us are water towers. Why would water be in the air like that? Why do they need to have it up high like that? How did they even get it up there? And what's the point? When did they ever use it? If that's the case. If it's water, when did they ever use it? It's not making sense. What's in there? If anything happens to me, just know that I am not suicidal. I am not going to hurt myself. There's nothing wrong with me. If I come off missing all day, it wasn't me. I'm going to put that out there right now because people have come after me multiple times. And I feel the need to say that shit. Because they don't like the information that I am uncovering. I'm not going to say they don't like it. They know shit is true. And they don't want it out there. They had a wild card. Because I don't like being on social media like that. I really don't like being on camera. But I have been led by God. Told by God that I needed to do this. I need to get this information out there. Because we all have been under this illusion for too long. And the only way for this reign of terror, this system of oppression to collapse was for the truth to come out. And like I told you previously, for some reason, no, we're not supposed to question God, but He chose me for the job, even though I didn't really apply. I don't think I did, God. I don't know. You chose me for a reason, maybe because I wasn't afraid to actually do the job. A little slow in doing it, making it happen, but not afraid to do it. I'm telling you, I had to trust my intuition a lot. I had to stay in touch with the spiritual realm. get ancestral guidance, protection. I had to trust that. A lot of times we want to question everything. And believe me, there were times when I did question a lot of things. I'm like, are you sure you want me to do? Are you sure this is what I'm supposed to do? You sure this is the shit you want me to do? And me and God had that connection. And may I tell you, right now, God does not care how you talk. He doesn't care if you say certain words that man determines to be profanity or bad words. Because guess what? God says them too. One of the times they came after me, I went to the hospital for stomach pain. Somehow, I ended up on the other side of the hospital, on the mental side. And you know why that was? Because I said God led me to a place that was private property. Now, in saying that, their whole basis for sending me to that area was because I quote unquote heard voices. I didn't say I heard voices, plural. I said God. And I didn't say it was a voice. I said God told me to. Yes, but God can communicate in multiple ways. I never said it was a voice. So they came to that conclusion on their own. And this was MUSC, Medical University of South Carolina. Yes, it was. I'm going to say the fucking name. Because they had no right. None. Think about all the other people who are around here talking about they hear voices and stuff. Not only that, I said God told me to do what I was doing. Yeah? Okay. Think about how many of these preachers are on TV saying God told them to do this and do that. Are they hauling them away? No. It's the same thing. So why is it when God talked to me or led me or told me however way he told me to do it, all of a sudden I'm being hauled to a mental ward at Medical University of South Carolina? Almost a conversation at the very least. Because that was time out of my life. Time away from my daughters. For that bullshit. You literally have people on TV all the time saying the exact same thing. They're doing what God told them to do. The Lord put it on my heart. They're using all those terms, the same shit, and nobody's doing that, what they did to me, to them. And they're on TV saying God told them to. So, and not only that, while I was there, the doctor kept saying the same shit over and over. Because repetitive speech, and also is how it's being said, is also a way to manipulate someone. Kind of like a hypnotic thing. They can manipulate the things you say. They can mind hack you. They do all sorts of things. Just like the first time they came for me. There's a bitch that worked there. And yes, I'm going to say it. That bitch couldn't wait to jab me with that goddamn thing. She was doing some kind of funny shit with her fingers and her eyes and her mouth to get me to react to her. I never touched her. I was never aggressive. I was only speaking. That's it. Speaking. Now, if she didn't like what I was saying, that's not against the law. I didn't make any threats to her at all. And her name was Michaela. Yes, her name was Michaela. And I'm going to say the name of the place. Live Oak. I have every right to say it because it's what happened. It is the truth. Not only her, like I told y'all yesterday, that one nurse, that kept trying to overdose me and got mad every time she came to the room and I was still awake, I was still alive. Her name was supposedly Bernadette. Supposedly. But I remember her face. We had the same 6th grade class together. 6th grade reading class. I remember her at C.E. Williams Middle School. That's right. And Miss Cooper, it was your class. I remember you too. That girl, Louisa, it was her ass. Supposedly from South America. Supposedly she couldn't speak any English. Supposedly. That's why I'm putting your goddamn name out there, baby. Because you kept trying to kill me. People open themselves up to these demonic energies and demonic forces. Think about some of the people you're associated with, some of the organizations you belong to, some of these oaths. These oaths, you take an oath, that's a way. You need to know what all that entails. You need to know how deep it goes. And sometimes you're born into it. Sometimes you have no idea. Sometimes you're just born into it. And it follows you. But either way it goes, you don't have to do any of that stuff. And they can just find you because you're vulnerable. You have a weak mind. However it occurs, it occurs. But she was doing that twitchy stuff with her mouth too, trying to manipulate me. And they can do it with their eyes too. They can look you in the eye and hypnotize you, manipulate you. And that is what happened. Because they didn't want me speaking these truths. That's what it was. There wasn't shit wrong with me. There is nothing wrong with me. I am not mental. It's because they were afraid of what I would do. That's the only thing it was. And I even told my sister, I told my therapist that too. I was like, they came after me. And that tells me one thing, either I have something they want or I'm capable of doing something they are afraid of. And that's exactly what it is. Both of those things. I have the power of God. Now, another thing. For my military folks, the tomb of the unknown soldier. Have you ever asked yourself, what's in that tomb? Because the damn show ain't no soldier. When has the military, the Department of Defense, ever cared enough to arm a tomb, a body of a soldier, especially an unknown soldier, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, every single day of the year? Does that make sense to you? I thought about this last year too, 2025. At some point, I don't remember exactly when. But I was like, something else is in that tomb. And if not something else, it's access to something. It is my guess that what is in that tomb is something very precious to humanity. I told you this was the original Holy Land yesterday. I'm going to say a previous video because I don't know when you may watch, but a previous video. That this is the original Holy Land. Hell, Charleston is called the Holy City. They put stuff in plain sight. What do you think is in that tomb? What is in that tomb? The body of Christ. Now Christ, we've associated with Jesus. Yeah? So I'm going to say body of Christ. Alright? But Christ is a level of consciousness. Alright? So really, Christians to only be called Christians if they've reached the Christ level of consciousness. It is not a religious denomination, or it's not supposed to be a religious denomination. It's a state of mind. It's a state of elevation. That is why it is said the way to the Father is through Christ. Not through Jesus, through Christ. Christ consciousness, not Jesus. You can take Jesus's teachings to get there. He was like your guide. He was your teacher. You should have done what Jesus did to reach the Father. And speaking of which, the crucifixion. I don't believe that crucifixion happened the way they say it did. If anything, think about this. I've said this before. Do you think 3 nails can hold up someone's body weight? An adult man. It would rip through the tissue. Crown of thorns. Was that a literal crown of thorns? Or was that, like, metaphorically speaking, for mental anguish that he probably endured and likely endured, because I damn sure did. They tortured me in those places. The first time, they were doing stuff through frequency. And that's how they got me there in the first place. They send stuff through, manipulate your mind through frequency. Get you to react. They were telling me all sorts of things through that frequency. Telling me my kids were dead. Imagine that. Imagine. And I do have PTSD from that experience. They were telling me my mom was dead. Hell, my soulmate, he know who he is. And a lot of you who are connected in the internet of the spiritual warfare, who know what's going on, know who I'm talking about as well. Well, I told him the way to end this spiritual warfare was to get to me, because that is what they did not want. They are going through too much trouble to keep us apart. And the only reason they would go through that much damn trouble is if it ruined or did something to their control, their power. So it's just like you're online, you're on the internet. Let's just refer back to the dial-up days. It's the easiest way I can put this for those of us who are old enough to remember dial-up. And guess I do still have an AOL email address. I am not getting rid of it. I have like 8 other email addresses too, but I do still have AOL. Just to make that point. Anyway. Think about being connected to the internet. So those of you who are connected to this, spiritual warfare, connected to me, you're in, you're in the collective. I'm online with you, right? He is calling in, all right? It knocks all of you offline, including the dark forces. All right? Including the enemy, because they are in this too. They don't want that call to come through. So they're going through all this trouble to keep us apart. They sent an agent my way like it was a job for him. And I ended up getting married to him under mind manipulation, under spell work. Because I recall back, I never forgot that day he first came to me. I had just gotten to work on Fort Bragg. I had just gotten to work and he was new to the unit. The way he came at me, it looked like he was on a mission and he had just found his target. It looked like a job. And I even told him that recently, multiple times. I was like, I remember when you came to me, you looked like you was on the job and you had just accomplished it. You saw your target and you're just going for the target. That's how it looked. I remember that to this day. Not saying that he didn't care at all, but it was like it was a job too. He was sent to be a distraction to me and keep me away from the person I was really supposed to be with, because all this stuff was supposed to occur. When they were saying that, well, Y2K, there was a scare then, it was probably written somewhere in prophecy that something would happen then. They kept trying to, it was prophesized multiple times about end times. I think 2012 was another time. And it didn't happen then because I was distracted. I had a distraction already. I didn't know any of the stuff. I was completely oblivious to all of it up until last year. And I do mean completely. Imagine the mental toll it takes, and I still had to get up every day and do things and live my life and do the Lord's work. And I'm not the only one. There are others too. And for them, they still have to work and go through this. So I can't imagine the toll it's taken on them. And I ask God right now to heal them from what they are going through mentally, because it's got to be harder for them. It's got to be hard. It's hard for me. But like I said, I stepped away from my business to do the Lord's work, to do what God wanted me to do, to bring down this fucked up system and put an end to this terror. This is the real war on terrorism. This. Another thing, they call it the United States. This is the most un-United States. It's ununited like a mother. How you gonna call it the United States and nothing's united about it? Every state has their own laws. Where's the unity come from? Where? You can go to one state and go buy THC, marijuana freely, and then drive 10 miles up the street and get arrested for the same thing. What kind of bullshit is this? People are locked up in prison over marijuana, something that God put here on this planet for us to use for multiple things. Multiple things. It assists with epileptic patients, cancer, insomnia, anxiety, pain, inflammation, a lot of things. They made it illegal so that they can make money by forcing you to take medications for the same stuff that is available on God's green earth. And that is another reason why they're cutting down all these trees and building all this crap. They're limiting the stuff, free access to the stuff that we're supposed to have free access to because God put it here for us to use. These trees are being cut down in large numbers. Pretty soon you are going to have to buy air because the trees do produce oxygen. And not only oxygen, they help facilitate the moisture that is needed for rainfall. That's why we have so many droughts. And they won't stop cutting them down. I get upset every time I ride by here, going to my sister's house. This plot of land that has been for sale for long. I was like, please don't sell this land. Just leave it there. There's nothing wrong with leaving it there. And a lot of times, the buildings and things that they're using it for or building over it isn't even readily used. It's a for sale sign or for space available that's being stuck on there. So really, they're tearing down a tree for no reason. The buildings are just sitting there. And guess what that does for you too? No more natural sunlight comes in for you. Now you have to use your electricity to turn on lights just to see in the daytime. Because all these buildings and apartments and all that stuff is blocking the natural light you did get from the sun, which I don't even know if that is even real. The sun. Why do I say that? Because when you're flying on a plane, that sun looks way different than it does on the ground. When you're on an airplane, those of you who fly often, think back. Think about it. That is the orangey, yellow-orange sun that we've always known. When you're on the ground, that sun is white as snow and hot. That's a different kind of hot. If that thing is directly shining on you, it is hot. It's like being under a magnifying glass. And that's what I feel like it is. A looking glass of some kind. A lens. Something is watching us. I don't know if that's the eye of God. You know, there is a saying, the eye in the sky. Look on the back of your dollar bill, your US dollar bill. There is an eye in the sky. God is watching us from a distance. You see now why they wanted to kill me and get rid of me, right? They don't want someone who's able to think outside the box, speaking to you, getting you to think as well. If you start thinking, you're no longer able to control it as easily. And the whole system collapses, it falls. That's why these super mega rich people are building these underground tunnels. They're trying to run away from what's coming. When you guys are angry enough, I'm not telling you to be destructive. You can make a point without tearing shit up. Because after all, you do still have to live in this motherfucker. Don't forget that. We all live here. But who decided it was okay to take money out of your account, out of your check, to supposedly contribute to a part that benefits us all, but it doesn't benefit us all? They have people working into their 80s because they can't afford to live. What kind of shit is that? It's one thing if they want to live, work just to stay active. But if they're forced to do it because they can't afford to live and they need the money, and everything is so expensive now, to eat is costing way too much money to just eat. And guess what? It doesn't even have to be that way. You know why? Because trees that bear fruit and nuts were put here for us to eat for free. And they cut them down and force you to go to the stores and buy the same shit that was put here for us to eat for free. So I'm telling you, they got to start cutting this shit down. We've got these greedy beings who don't care. They're in it for the money. But they're gonna die one day. Like my Method Man said, they're in it for the money. M-O-N-E-Y. But you can't take it with you when you die. They don't care. They don't care. They should have stopped messing with me, you know? They should have stopped messing with me. I might have still been asleep. They kept poking at me. Poking the lioness. Poking the lioness. Messing with me, messing with my kids. You messing with my kids, you done fucked up now. Alright? I'm just telling you that right now. Anybody who messes with my kids, that's a dangerous game you're playing right now. Don't mess with my kids, don't mess with my mama. I would say my siblings too. I guess them too. But, you know, they're truly innocent. First. When I was at MUSC, like I said, a spiritual warfare occurring. So a lot of telepathic and 5D events took place. And they can say what they want and act like they don't know what the fuck was going on. They knew what was going on. They definitely knew what was happening. There were confirmations going on all around me that a lot of them knew exactly what was going on. Like I said, my nurse, she was crying when I woke up when I resurrected. Because it was a resurrection. Many times. Just like a live oak, and it kept overdosing me, and I felt the life draining from me. I felt it in that energy harvesting bed of theirs. There was something in there sucking energy out of me. And the same at MUSC. They didn't give me any medications there while I was in the ER area. It was an energy there, a dark, demonic force in that fucking hospital that was draining the life out of me, and did. Because that's when I was bugging out. So I've been told. I woke up. I even asked to change chairs multiple times because whatever was in that chair, I was like, something is in this chair. It's hurting me. Like, it feels like, I don't even know how to describe it. If many of you who have watched Harry Potter movies, I forgot what you call them. What do you call them? What is it called? Dementors. The Dementors. If you can imagine how that might feel when they're sucking, life out of Harry and Dudley and anybody that get close to their, just like a Hocus Pocus. Those who may have not watched Harry Potter movies, you've seen Hocus Pocus. And they had little kids up in there sucking the soul out of them. That's what that felt like. How that looks. It felt like how that looks. And I did hear the voice of my true spiritual husband. In the spiritual realm. We're already married. Spiritual realm. I'm going to just say it out loud because it is true. For those who don't understand this stuff is real. Now, 3 years ago, maybe even 2 years ago, when I was just sorting this out, I would have looked at you a different kind of way. But since I've awakened to it, this stuff is very real. Very real. But anyway, I woke up to his voice telling me I need to get up or I wasn't going to make it. You need to get off this bed or you're not going to make it. In fact, I can call him in right now to prove what I'm saying, and it will be his voice speaking to you through me. I'm not that good to be able to make a male voice. It's his voice. Andre, tap in right now. What's up, baby? There's no one in this car but me and all my stuff. Tell him what you told me when I was in that place. You told me I had to go. Say it right now in your voice. All right, baby, you need to get up or you're not going to make it. Do it again. Oh, God. All right, Andre, shit. I'm trying to get in right, baby. Shit. All right. That kind of hurt. All right. Let me get my breath. Okay, tap in. Hey, baby, you need to get up or you're not going to make it. I need you to get up, baby. That's what he said. When I got up. It took a lot for me to get up because they tried to kill me. They drugged me. Overdosed. For no reason for speaking. And another thing. They had avatars of real. Tell him. I want you to tell him. I want you to tell him right now. I'm not that capable of making a male voice like that. That deep, that's him tapping in. Because you know what? You know who he is. And I know a lot of you who went to school with us. This shit is crazy. Believe me. I'm having a hard time processing it myself. And I am at the center of it. And so is Dre. And y'all know who I'm talking about. I'm under this microscope. You're going to be under this shit too, man. God damn it. I didn't say no, baby. No. You haven't been able to sit behind and only work in the 5D. And you bring your ass here and be up front too. And I don't mean just through me. I mean you show your face. Wherever you are. You need to show your face. Well, that's not fair. That's not fair, I know. And you left me to deal with all this by myself. You wasn't dealing with it by yourself, sis. I was there with you. To me, it was by myself. The physical stuff. Physically, I was by myself. It wasn't you. And if it was you, it wasn't you that I know. And you know what I mean? Like I told y'all before, switching your consciousness, they told me that when I was in that place. That they are able to switch your consciousness. You know that movie, The Skeleton Key? And they were switching bodies, body jumping. That shit is real. shape-shifting. They show you it on Harry Potter. It's not just fantasy. They tell you it's fantasy, but a lot of that stuff is real. Interdimensional beings are here. They've been here, right? They've been here. Now, you have these people up in government who are doing all sorts of things. Like I told you before, MK Ultra, experimenting on people, experimenting on kids. All those people in those facilities, you know, they're using them, harvesting their energy. That's what they're doing to me. I'm not going to tell your role of who you are. That's your job. And you can do it. And he knows what I'm talking to. And those of you who know me, who really know me, know that I never had this accent. This accent came when I came to this point of consciousness, of Christ consciousness. That's right. That's when the accent came. I'm not just doing that. I'm just talking regularly. It's coming out like that. I'm not that good at making a voice or doing an accent or anything like that. I am not that good to be able to just talk and it come out like this. That tells you how real all this is. That tells you God's power. Because I can even say, you know, give my Geechee accent back. Give him my Geechee accent. See, I start talking like this. And it's just like that. Give him my kingdom accent back, please. And I start talking about like this. I'm just talking regularly, as far as I know. It's coming out that way. I remember Old Kingdom, I told y'all. The kingdom, ancient Egypt. I remember it. And he was there. I remember him. I'm not going to say the other part. You know what I'm talking about. Exactly who you look like. Just like. I'm not going to tell him. I'll let you tell him. That's not fair. Again, I'm just as shy as you are. I was forced to do this, and I didn't even want to. This video, and I'm going to say forced, because that's what it feels like. And I will tell you like this. Like I said before, the worst thing they could have done, and they knew it, was involve my kids in any of this. And I even told them, leave my kids alone. I will sacrifice myself. If you leave my kids alone, leave my family alone, I will sacrifice myself. Hell, they already did it a couple times at the other place. I know what that feels like. I'm not afraid anymore. I used to be terrified of dying. Terrified. There was a time when I didn't want to step foot in a cemetery, and I found myself sitting there in a cemetery at night at that, because that's where I felt like I could get away from these demons. Not only that, because I have the connection with the spiritual realm, a lot of times I go to that motherfucker and I can hear And I will say here, but it's not really a voice or whatever. It's a connection with the spiritual realm. They do communicate to me. I can communicate with animals, babies, interdimensional beings, outer dimensional beings. In which those of you who are messing with that firmament, you might want to stop. You do want to stop. Because you will be the first one to go. You know why that is? Because that was put in place anyway once you got here. That's the only reason that you're able to exist is because that firmament is there. They removed that firmament. You're the first to go because your body can't withstand how the atmosphere is going to change. There are beings much larger, and I do mean much larger. Much larger. There were already some pretty gigantic beings previously, but they were within the earth. Imagine beings being much larger than that, where they hold the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. And that's not a lie. And they know that I know that. And they know exactly who I am. And that is why, once again, just to reiterate, they wanted to get rid of me. But if they truly knew the power of God, then they should have fucking known that they could not kill me. In fact, it goes both out harm me. Eternal. Right on time. Oops, coming with troops. So, this is a long enough video. I don't like to go this long. It's getting dark. It's too trafficy out there. So I'm gonna go ahead and probably end it now. I hope that this is providing enough insight to get you riled up for you to know and be with me in ending the system. And I don't mean with violence. You can make a statement and take a stand without tearing up things, without hurting people, without being destructive, because you still have to live here, you know. Attend your town hall meetings and demand they stop deconstructing the earth. All of this construction that's going on is not necessary. It's not. That's why a lot of us, I'm going to say a lot of you because I'll work it up to it, but that's why a lot of people have these medical conditions, illnesses, ailments, cancers, all that stuff like that. A lot of what was keeping people healthy is being destroyed. You don't need any more hotels. If it's sold out, it's just damn sold out. Downtown Charleston, I don't even recognize anymore. And this was just within the last couple years. Imagine what it used to be like 20 years ago, you know? I don't even like driving down there. I don't like driving anywhere in Charleston. I don't even like coming here anymore because it doesn't look the same. It doesn't feel like home. It feels like every other city. If you keep building up, everywhere's going to look the same. There's going to be nothing exclusive about any city because they keep building the same stuff. It's the same stores. It's the same restaurants. What is unique to these different places now? Nothing. So pretty soon it's going to be pointless to travel. It's going to just be building. It's going to look like freaking roadblocks everywhere. And that's why I've been calling the new building design they're using for everything, all the new fast food restaurants, they all look like roadblocks. They all opted for this quote unquote modern look. But I guarantee you, the Generation X and millennials don't care for the modern looks. We want the old-fashioned look. We want the old shit. I promise you, you probably get more business if you go back to the old way. Because that was a better time for us. And a lot of us appreciated that time era, that period of time. We lived our best lives then. If I could go back to any point in time, it would certainly be the 80s and 90s. If I had to stretch it, it would be the early 2000s. I do mean early. Lil Jon, the East Side Boys, the ATL Crunk era, around that time. That was fun. I actually was living in Atlanta during that time anyway, so. What's up, Amazon? Just stole from me at my sister's house. Go ahead and take it to the door. Wipe to the camera, Amazon. Now, granted, I would have to push it to 2010 to get my girl back, to get my girl, Mackenzie, though she was a surprise. Still, I wouldn't have it any other way. That little girl was telling me things when she's an old soul. She always had divine connection. She was telling me things at her young age to help facilitate at the time, but I didn't know. And I always said that she was telepathic at a young age. She would be able to answer my questions when I didn't even say. That's how I knew. But I never told anyone that. I didn't start talking about it until recently, the last year or so. I told our neighbor when we had these conversations. Shout out, Kurt. I told her dad, I was like, Mackenzie has always been telepathic. She would answer my question or know my thoughts without me even verbalizing it. She knew, and she would respond. And I don't know if she knew what she was doing or that she had that ability, but she did. So a lot of times she started cutting people out of her life. It's because she probably most likely knew your thoughts. And she didn't like the things you were thinking. Because I never understood why she would just stop talking to people that she was cool with. And she would just say, oh, well, I don't really like who they are anymore. She would say something to that magnitude, along those lines. I don't really rock with them like that anymore. She never really explained why, but she had her reasons. Reagan knew things too. I paid attention to my kids in retrospect. Like at the times they were telling me, I never blew off the things that they were saying. I just didn't understand why they were saying them. Your kids are teachers to you too. It's not just up to you to teach them. They teach you too. And you can learn from them too. And I did, you know. My daughter writes music about her experiences, her life experiences. And her middle school experience, her writing a song about it, made me cry. Like, made me want to cry. Watching old videos of her saying that teacher made her study math instead of being able to finish watching the movie. Like, that genuinely made me cry. Like, why would you do that to the kid? I remember Mackenzie, her 5th grade teacher wouldn't let them go outside and play. And I'm like, why? Even if it's just a few students acting up, why make the whole class suffer? They had just got a new playground. You know, and it was just after being, returned to school after the pandemic. And I'm like, you can't just let the kids play? And this is my genuine thought, you bitch. I'm like, they're in 5th grade, it's their last year of being able to quote unquote play. Just let them play. I did tell her, can't you just let the kids play? It's their last year of school, elementary school. And my daughter would come home and say that they weren't allowed to go and play around again. The other class was, we weren't allowed to go. I'm like, this bitch. Those are my thoughts. I'm not going to censor myself. That's another thing, these platforms. They have the same music on the platform, yet they will mute or block your video for having music, background music that's on my radio, on my playlist, in the background of the video. It's not even the main point of the video, it's the background, because I don't want to sit in a quiet car. But you can go search on the very same platform that's blocking it, and the music is on there. Make that make sense. I didn't pass a water tower, by the way, a quote unquote water tower, but I'm going to say observation tower because they're probably watching us. There are antennas, cables, and it's counterproductive to be a water tower and have that much electricity and cables running along the lines of it. So there ain't no freaking water up there. I don't know if there's going to be more videos. I could go with Pam, or I could go with Cole. I just don't know. Those of you who know where that's from. Either way, I just don't know. I had to go to work on Mars Free already. It was a whole ordeal. I am tired. I'm exhausted. I need a vacation. My kids have been through it. They have been through it. And for them to be doing as well as they're doing, provided that they're involved in this too. I don't think that they're aware of it. They're aware that I have been not the same in regards to my availability. But that was also to protect them because I love them. So if there's any question about that, I never stopped loving y'all. I will never stop loving y'all. I have always loved y'all and did everything I could to protect you, to make life easier for you, including breaking these generational curses that I have broken so that you didn't have to. And like I said, when I was in that hospital, I was having these telepathic messages, these 5-dimensional encounters with these demonic forces, and that, believe me, that shit is real. I told them, just leave my kids and my family alone. Leave everyone alone. I will make the sacrifice. I'll go. But everybody else is safe. Leave my children alone. And shortly after that, I felt it draining my life. And then it was out. And I didn't know anything until I woke back up. I resurrected. Got back up. Either way, my eyes open. And I was like, I saw the nurse on the station sniffling and wiping her eyes, crying. I was like, well, what the hell? And as people started walking by me, looking at me, and I was like, what? So I'm recording, had the phone up a lot of times. I didn't know what had happened. And then I was told I was dead for quite some time. Like I said, I may or may not. Depends on what I'm led to do. I'm pretty sure the divine's gonna want me to put something out there. I don't know, but a lot of times I do end up doing, or I do what I'm told. I may procrastinate in it, which you're not supposed to do. I end up paying for it in another way. I might miss a blessing in procrastination. I know he's got to understand how he made me, and he made a procrastinator. I mean, it ain't just him, you know. I procrastinate on a lot of things. I was gonna wash this car for like 3 weeks now. I still haven't done it. I was gonna call people back. I haven't called back in 2 months. I procrastinate on a lot of things. I know he said I am the exception. I know. Well, I'm just telling you how you made me. I mean, I think you know that, but have a little grace. You didn't make me this way after all. I don't know if I'm supposed to say that shit. I'm probably gonna get in trouble for it later, but at the same time, you know, I did tell y'all, I did speak to him as if I'm talking to a friend because he is my best friend too. Develop that type of relationship with God, but you can call God your best friend. And talk to him like you would your best friend. Because what he requires is simple. Love. That's what he requires, love. And a lot of us can't even do that. Because with the love comes jealousy, comes ulterior motive, comes some sort of resentment, hesitation, a lot of things that taint the love that you're supposed to share. But for me, I had to do certain things. And because I cared about everyone, and particularly my children, my family, I did it. Without a question, without second guess, I said, okay, just take me out then. Leave everyone else alone. If that's what it takes to end this, just take me out. And I did it. Willingly. Because I do love everybody. And I have proven it by sacrificing myself. People can say that, but they have no proof of it. Well, I've said it and I've proved it. I'm a person of my word. If I gave you my word on something, I'm going to do it. If by chance I'm not able to do it, I will let you know that. I'm not going to leave you trying to figure it out, which people have done to me. Well, I feel like I can't trust a whole lot of people who I thought I could trust. And that hurts me. It does. But at the end of the day, and it is quite literally the end of the day because the sun is going down, I have still done what I said I would do. I would die for my kids, and I did. I'm not one who just says that. I actually did it. God has the power. He says, you are here to do a job, and I'm trusting you to do this job. So get up. And I opened my eyes, and I did get up from that chair that I was still in. So I'm gonna just leave you with that.